All right, let's get this shit started. What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Abdul, and today this video is gonna be about the NBA playoffs. If y'all been watching the last couple of games, if y'all been watching these past couple of games, we already have the New Orleans Pelicans advancing into the playoffs, beating the Sacramento Kings last night, and we also had the Miami Heat beating the Chicago Bulls and also advancing in the playoffs. So I'm just gonna go over my prediction of the first round. I wanted to do like the entire round from like round one to like the finals, but that shit's gonna take too long for me to do. So I'm gonna make my predictions of who's gonna win the first round, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts. If this is your first time watching this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and share with people because this is my first channel I'm doing. This is my first video I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to just try and grow this channel. Just getting used to this shit. So let's get started. All right, so got you to bust out these buses right now. Trying to give you some intellectual knowledge. All right, let me stop. So let's start with the West. So we got OKC versus the Pelicans. OKC has been basically been the number one team in the West, just basically just proving other teams wrong. Nobody expected. For me, last season, my expectations for them were to like make that leap into the playoffs because last season they were like a playing team. They lost to Minnesota, but I did not expect them to like make it this far into the playoffs the way how they're playing. You got SGA being an MVP candidate. You also have Chet Holmgren, who's like rookie of the year. Even though people put that he's like a sophomore, but he's a rookie. But I understand what y'all saying by putting him. Oh, he's technically a second year player, but I also like the coach and Mark Daigneault, if I'm pronouncing it right. And I just like the rest of the other team that they have. Now in New Orleans has been like up and down this season. You know, they had Zion Williamson. You know, he's been a little bit out of shape. You know, he had like controversy off the court. But besides all of that, he has beginning of the season, he was like injured and then he was having all these issues going off the court, but he's been able to stay focused. Brandon Ingram, he's a very good scorer, very underrated player, in my opinion. I used to watch him in LA. I'm a Laker fan, by the way. So if y'all did not know, I'm a Laker fan. And I always thought that he was like very nice. So also like he's improving well on his team. You have CJ McCollum, you have Trey Murphy, you have everybody, Jones Valanciunas, basically everyone. So how I see this going, I could say I see OKC winning in six. I could see OKC beating them in six just because I think they have like perimeter guys who could like people guards that New Orleans have, and they also have like Chet. But if you look at the weaknesses that OKC does have is they're very like skinny and they're also like inexperienced. So that could be another flaw for them. And yeah, that's like another side that New Orleans can take advantage of. But if Zion is healthy because he injured himself during that game against the Lakers when he dropped 40 points. And so that's gonna be a tough one. So if I have to choose, I'm gonna go with OKC in six, advancing into the second round. Now, Clippers versus Mavs. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's gonna be a great one. That's gonna be a great one. We know the history between Luca and the Clippers, and the Clippers is Luca. They faced against each other like three times. The first time they met was back in the bubble in 2020. Luca's giving that business to them in those first two games, but Clippers eventually surpassed them. They met in 2021. Also, they Luca's giving that business, but Clippers still beat them and went on to the next round in the other few years. But now this year has been different because one team that started off like good, but descend, which is the Clippers. One team that didn't do very well is now rising, which is the Mavs. So we know from the start of the season, the Clippers traded for James Harden. Everybody thought that was like a crazy move to have like Russell Westbrook, Kawhi, PG. and James all on the same team with ball handling, with all of them being like the first option. He was wondering how this shit was gonna work. Even I was questioning how this is gonna work. But Talu, they figured it out and they had a very good stretch up until like post All-Star. And shit started going down. Kawhi started getting hurt, which is I hope he plays because I want to see Kawhi play. Because when he's out there on the court, I don't think no man can really like stop him for real because he's like a two-way player. He could play defense and he could guard. So that's I really want to see Kawhi play. But if you look on the Mavs side, they traded for Kyrie last season, and then they like tank and got like worse. And question was like, yo, you have Luka Doncic, who's like a generational player who's out there doing on the court, doing all these things before them putting you guys on the putting Luka is doing his best to carry y'all in the games. So during this season, the Mavs, they were struggling a bit on defense, but eventually they made some big trades and got Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, which helped them a lot because if you watch their games before, the only thing that Mavs had team wise that was a struggle for them was just like the playoffs. I mean, not the playoffs, in the regular season was just defense because they weren't like a very good defensive team. But now since they brought in PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, their defense has been very well. Luka has been playing well. Kyrie has played very, very, very well. I mean, like he's out getting dunks, throwing lobs and shit, crossing people over, floors, all that stuff. Man, that's crazy, bro. So yeah, uh, if I had to choose who would between these two teams, when healthy, if Kawhi is hurt, if Kawhi is hurt in this playoff series, I will probably say Mavs in six. I'm gonna say Mavs in six because they have the offensive power, Luka and Kyrie, to match up with them, and also defensively they could guard, PG, Kawhi. They have other pieces that could guard like PG, Kawhi, Russ, James, if Kawhi is playing. But on the Clipper side, you got like four scoring options, but on defensively, who's gonna guard Kyrie and Luka? Basically, that's another thing that I want to see from the coaching standpoint from Ty Lue and from also on the other side from Jason Kidd, what they gonna do coaching wise. Next, we got Mavs versus no, my fault, not bugging. Crazy. I got next we got Timberwolves versus the Suns. Suns versus Timberwolves, man. Yo, let's talk about the Suns, bro. The Suns been very, how can I say it? The Suns been very like disappointing in a way because you got Kevin Durant and you got Devin Booker and you got Bradley Beal. Just based off of the paper, people predicting them to like make it as far like into the playoffs, be like one of the best teams on paper, but you had injuries and stuff like that. Injuries, you had, those three guys out of start the lineup. And they don't really have like a traditional point guard, just a guy who like facilitate, just give them the ball. There'll be times where KD will have the rock and he's facilitating. There'll be times where Devin Booker has the ball and he's facilitating. There'll be times where Bradley Beal be having the ball and he's facilitating. So that doesn't really work because they need the ball. They don't need to like operate with the ball. They could do it, but at best, they just need somebody to give them the ball and let them cook type shit. So now let's head out to Minnesota. Minnesota had been one of those few teams as well as the, Timberwolves. Ignore that. So yeah, the Timberwolves has been one of those teams in the West that has been up and up. You have Anthony Edwards being one of the young up and cut. You have Anthony Edwards being one of the up and rising stars in the league coming up, playing very well and playing very great. You also have Rudy Gobert. Even though that trade, looking back at it, for the amount that Minnesota asked for Rudy Gobert looked crazy back then, but now it's kind of like working for them. So they also have like great pieces in Mike Conley with that veteran leadership. They have Jaden McDaniels, who's also a two-way player. And you got Nas Reed as well, who's like an MIP candidate. So if I had to choose, I'll probably go with damn this shit's tough. Shit's so tough. Um, I would probably say Suns in six. Yeah, Suns in six. I would say Suns in six because I feel like you got Kevin Durant. I don't think nobody on that team they could probably slow him down, but I think by that playoff time comes in, they could probably KD turns up. You also got Devin Booker and you also got Bradley Beal, so you can't leave one of those. You can't leave one of those three guys open. So I would say the Suns for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think they could beat them because I think that lack of inexperience and the pressure that they had to go through face against the Suns. All right, so now we got my team. Lakers versus Nuggets. Lakers versus Nuggets. All right. So if y'all don't know, in the beginning of the video, I said I'm a Laker fan. Right nowhere in the video, and I'm a Laker fan. I know about Denver. I'm familiar with Denver. I'm familiar with this man, Nikola Jokic, Mike Conley. No, I say Mike Conley. I'm familiar with Mike Malone, Jamal Murray, all them niggas. But if you ask me, I might say Lakers at seven. And here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Number one, LeBron James has been playing tremendous this year, even though he has to carry the team on his back. We just saw what he did in New Orleans. Even though he facilitated, he didn't score that much. You could feel that he was playing his best basketball. Two, we also got AD. He's been healthy this year, so injury wise, I'm praying he does not get hurt because if he does, that'll be tough. Three, I think three is because we have D'Angelo Russell. We also have like other guys besides them two alone. And D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, who could bring some scoring off the bench, and we also got other pieces as well. And I think the reason why we could beat the Nuggets, even though they got Jokic, even though Jokic is a bad boy, I think last year we had oh shit, my fault. I thought hers. I'm sorry. So the reason why I think the Lakers could beat the Nuggets is because we got if we could have D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves being our two third options, and they could score very well because when D'Angelo's on fire, we have a chance. But when he's playing like shit and he's like breaking all these shots, it's oof. Austin Reeves, he's been all right for us. I wouldn't say he's been okay, but he has been right for us in these past couple of games in the play and also in the regular season. So on Denver side, like I said, they got Jokic. They got an MVP in Jokic. Jamal Murray, I expect him. I think he's coming back. I know our report that I think he was injured. I think he was injured if I'm not believe. So yeah. If you ask me, as a biased person, Lakers in seven, but realistically, it might be Nuggets in six. It might be Nuggets six, but I'm going my pick. I'm saying Lakers in seven. Lakers in seven. Now we're gonna head over to the East. So on the East side, we got the Boston Celtics versus the Heat. Yo, these two always somehow always get to me to yeah. This team always somehow to always meet each other every single year. I mean, from 2020, from 2022, 2023, and now 2024, we got this going on. Boston Celtics has been the best team in the East. You look at Jason Tatum playing great basketball, Jaylen Brown, the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday has helped a lot. Got Joe Mazzulla coaching the team very well. The only thing that's the downside of this playoff matchup is that Jimmy might be out. He has a MCL injury that he got during the Philadelphia game in the play-in. So Jimmy might be out, which sucks because when Jimmy's on fire in the playoffs, bro, he'd be turning it up. He'd be turning it up. But I got Celtics in four. Yeah, I said I got Celtics in four. If they don't beat the Heat, man, hey, I'm gonna make a video slamming these. But I don't want that to happen. So I got the Celtics if Jimmy's not playing. Cavs versus the Magic. This is gonna be this is gonna be trash, but at the same time, not really trash. You got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. You got, you know, them two. But Donovan Mitchell hasn't been he's been injured during the regular season, missing a couple of games. There have been reports about how like him and Darius, I believe, I don't know, allegedly that they haven't been playing well together or they're not seeing eye to eye on the court. But you also have the Magic, a very young team who nobody expect to be here, nobody expect them to be there. Yeah, Paulo Banchero playing very good basketball in the second year in the league. You have, Jalen Suggs being a good defensive player, defensive guard. You also have Franz Wagner, Coach Jamal Mosey has, ridden this team into the team that they are now. So if I have to go, I'm gonna go with Magic. I'm gonna go Magic in five to keep it a buck with you. I gotta go Magic in five. I just think they got the size advantage for them against Cleveland, even though they have Donovan Mitchell, which I do believe, which he's a great player when the time playoff comes. But I don't know. I think there's a side that the Magic got. I think defensively they could guard these guys, especially with Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, the rest of the crew over there in Cleveland. So yeah, I got the Magic beating them in five. Yeah. Ooh, this is also an interesting one. We got Bucks versus the Pacers. This one is also interesting. We got the Bucks. The Bucks, man. What man? The Bucks were like the best team for a few mo for the regular season, halfway in the regular season. But then they got rid of their head coach, previous head coach, Adrian Griffin, I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong. They hired Adrian Griffin. They were like 30 and 13. But they had to let him go because some of the players weren't like fuck with him, like messing like respecting him as a coach, I think. And they got Doc Rivers. They hired him. We already know about Doc's past, about like by playoff time comes. So now and with Doc, they got 13 and 17. So that's a very interesting one. Giannis is not gonna be playing, I believe, because he had also injured his calf muscle in one of the games. I forgot which game it was. I know it's a nationally televised game. I think with the Celtics. Yeah, I think it was the Celtics. Yeah, so we don't know when Giannis is gonna come back. When you go on the Pacers side, Pacers has been one of them young teams. You have Tyrese Halliburton looking like one of the future guards in the league, especially in the East. Yeah, Pascal Siakam, yeah, Miles Turner, Rick Carlisle, all them guys. But then by the play-in, you know, they beat against Milwaukee. So I think that's what's gonna be more interesting for me because someone can have like a little bit of a friction right there, a little bit of beef. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a beef. And if Giannis isn't playing, if Giannis isn't playing, I ain't gonna lie, you still got Dame. Dame has been playing the best as well. Brook Lopez. Okay. I got the Bucks in five. I got the Bucks in five. I believe that Dame Lillard could like do this. I think this is one of the reasons why they brought in Dame because they need somebody to be like a second option, like a closer next to Giannis, just in case of scenarios like this does happen. But even though he did it in Portland, that's a little bit different than doing in Milwaukee. But I believe that if Dame he carry this team the way he does, I think they have a chance. But there's also a chance that they might lose because of one person, and that's Doc Rivers. So I'm not gonna be wishing too much bad voodoo on them. But if Doc cannot get this correct, he's up out there. He's up out there. So I'm gonna go with Bucks and 5. And last we got the Knicks versus the 76ers. The Knicks has been playing tremendous basketball. You know, you have Jalen Brunson being in the future, being an all-star this year, being like one of the top 10 best players this season, you know, that been playing well. You also have to take into account you have Dante DiVincenzo has been playing well, shooting the ball lights out. You also take into account you also have to take into account they got OG Anunoby from that trade from Toronto, who has been a very good player for them defensively as a 3D guard. You also have Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, all that. And on Philly has been, dealt with injuries, especially one of their main players, Joel Embiid, because Joel has been healthy lately. But during the before his injuries, he was looking like the best player in the league, and probably the case for the MVP. But that didn't happen, so he was missing out for a couple of games, and now he's back in the lineup. Now he's in the games, and he hasn't been the same. But he has other players like Tyrese Maxey who has been contributing. You also have Kelly Olynyk, not Kelly Olynyk, Kelly Oubre, Kyle Lowry, Tobias Harris. So in this series, I got I got the Knicks. I got the Knicks in I got the Knicks in 6. I got the Knicks in 6. The Knicks can the Knicks has a little bit more offensive power than them because you have Jalen Brunson at the guard spot who could you know, create his own shot, score on the ball. And he also have like other pieces around that can help around. Uh that's also one thing I also want to see how they could do that. And on the 76ers side, I don't think they could beat them. I don't think the 76ers can beat the Knicks because I think with Joel Embiid, him being injured a lot, I think it's gonna be a hard time for him to like move around, trying to shoot over people, trying to like get into the paint because you have like Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. Granted, they're not the the great defenders that they are, but they could get, put a little body up on Joel Embiid. And you don't want Joel Embiid to you worry if you're a Sixers fan if he's gonna get injured. So I hope he doesn't get injured, but if that's the case. You also have Tyrese Maxey, which I would like to see how he do in the playoffs as well. So yeah, I'm so yeah. So yeah, that's my playoff predictions. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Abdul. Um, this is my channel. It's gonna be like an NBA channel. Basically, I get my thoughts and my opinions. I'm just having fun, just trying to do this NBA shit. If you're new to this, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna see you on the next video, man.